Shall we start?
Yes, I think we can.
Okay, let's begin then. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Isha Mishra, Marketing Head at Excel 3D, and I welcome you on behalf of the team today. So, before we begin, I'd like to request you to send in your queries through the chat during the webinar, so we can answer them all together during the Q&A session. If at all your query remains unanswered, you can always raise a request to unmute you, and we'll help you do the same. To begin with, let me introduce the speakers to you today, starting with Pranit. He's the youngest member of the team. Our product innovator has been on board with us since November 2019. Pranit holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and has won numerous accolades in a short span of his career. Some of them are representing India among 81 other countries at the Formula Student UK and getting certified as a national level Formula racing driver under the FMSCI. Moving over to Samit, the CEO and co-founder of Excel 3D, Samit began his journey in additive manufacturing when the technology was still known as rapid prototyping. In more than 12 years of his journey in product development and 3D printing, Samit has worked as an application expert with industry giants like Materialize and Imaginarium, and he is currently focused towards spreading awareness and adoption of advanced manufacturing technologies in India. Moving to Utkarsha, the CTO and co-founder of Excel 3D, Utkarsha is a chartered engineer as in currently working with the Space Research Center at the University of Leicester to empower SMEs develop products for space missions. Utkarsha specializes in DFAM and end-to-end implementation of advanced manufacturing processes. With a rich experience in this field, Utkarsha also has a number of research papers and publications on metal additive manufacturing in his name. He is currently committed to spreading awareness and implementation of advanced manufacturing technologies in the UK and the Europe segment. I hope you guys know your speakers well for now. So without further ado, I hand over the charge to Samit.
Yes, thank you, Isha. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I welcome you all participants for this first webinar, which we have. So technically it's webinar, but for us, just wanted to share a few thoughts when we, as a team, when we thought about Excel 3D, and we had one thing in common, which was spreading the right awareness and knowledge about additive manufacturing to grow this industry well. And I would like to call it as a knowledge session, and we would continue doing these knowledge sessions from now on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, wherein we can spread the right awareness about the technology. So we have a very interesting topic with anthropology today. But before moving on to that, I would like to give a quick glimpse of what Excel 3D is and what was the thought process behind setting up an Excel 3D and what we do today in the additive manufacturing or advanced manufacturing domain. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to take you through these slides of what Excel 3D is. So Excel 3D is Excel 3D Advanced Technology Limited stands on three main pillars. First is the innovation in products with additive or advanced technology, or innovation in additive manufacturing or advanced technologies. Passion towards this technology, what we have, and the integrity. So currently, we have registered office in the UK and also in India. What is our mission? The mission we have is to transfer and accelerate the adoption of these technologies in India, the knowledge which we have acquired from so many years. How can we bring it back? And sorry, yeah, how can we do it? Accelerate the adoption of technology and also create and develop more innovative products, upskill the current and future workforce, and support the growth of this technology. And how we can do this is with all the experience which we have gained with the domain in the additive manufacturing domain for many years by supporting the individuals or firms with applications in AI. I'm really grateful and proud to say that we started in April last year, and today we are a team of 7 people. We are growing very fast, and there will be a lot of expansion which will be happening with the company. Coming to the offerings, we have different domains which we work with. So Excel 3D Academy, Excel 3D consultation, product development, healthcare, where we came up with India's first N100 category reusable respirator mask. And today we are talking about entomology with Paul's Excel 3D system. So we have partnered with two main companies, which we see that these are going to be the next technologies which will be adopted in EM. One is Sigma Labs and Entomology. Just quickly taking you through the glance of academy. So stay tuned for this, where we are going to have our first e-learning platform where additive manufacturing, we're going to bring courses on there, virtual classrooms and face-to-face. Face-to-face is something which during the pandemic we see that it did not happen, but yeah, that's the reason we have e-learning and virtual classrooms. Consultancy we deliver right from design, materials, manufacturing to post-processing or certifications. Product development, focusing on end-use parts. So a few projects which we have been working on right now are showcased here. This is completely with additive manufacturing. Healthcare, as I mentioned, our first XT100 mask, which we launched last year. We did DRDO certifications. We have many more products coming in the healthcare as well. And Excel 3D Systems is about entomology, which is the next generation engineering software, and Sigma Labs, which helps in third-party quality assurance for metal powder bed fusion. So this is what a complete Excel 3D looks like. And what we do in the UK. UK, we have our office in Coventry. We are partnered to Carbon. There you will see this announcement coming soon. And we do other activities such as training courses, the knowledge transfer which happens from the UK, research and development grants. We work with academia a lot in the UK as well. So this is what we do as an Excel 3D. If I would like to say that if there's anything we could help in additive manufacturing domain for any one of you, please reach out to us. So that's crisp and short about what Excel 3D is, and let's go back to the main topic, the technical discussion which we have to conduct today. I will pass it to Utkarsha to continue. I think Utkarsha, you can share your screen. I'll stop now.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Isha and Samit, for brief introduction. So we are here today to see what is in topology, and as Samit mentioned, this will be the very first webinar opening up the end-use application story. And our focus as Excel 3D always will be on end-use parts. I know that we are used to rapid prototyping, but it's time now to do rapid manufacturing and get as many applications through the market as possible. And that is our whole passion and drive will be. So again, we follow the similar philosophy here. We look at the problem statement, opportunity in the market, and then look at the solution. So the story behind Entopology and Sigma Labs is that we would like to partner with the companies who are innovative and adding value to the commercialization of additive manufacturing solutions. So let's look at what Entopology is. Today and open this chapter slowly for you in coming months and weeks. So what's the opportunity there for Entopology? We are using CAD packages for so many years, maybe 60 years, 70 years, we are doing these things. So how did we start? We started with the technological evolution in the factory first. So if you see the old days in the background here, people using manual lathes, shaping, milling, drilling machines, still doing drafting by hand. And then obviously it evolved from 2D to 3D, and now we are using NX, CATIA, Unigraphics. But what happened in last 20 years is the factory floor, it changed. So industry is going towards next level revolution on industry 4.0, where we are integrating software and hardware together as a digital workflow. And that's where that increased the visibility on the manufacturing constraints of all the manufacturing methods available in the market. And that evolution is great. But what happened on the software side, that it was stagnant. We were just happy doing CAD modeling, and we are still happy with doing CAD modeling, and then handing over that output to some other software, then another software, and another software. So we have this habit of using different specialized software for specialized things. But Entopology is allowing you to do that collaborative working much easier and much faster by cutting out those additional software you're using for simple things. So what's the problem? That's the interesting start. What's the problem with current CAD packages? And I'm sure on this journey, I will be asking few questions along the way, so you can answer and be with me. So regarding legacy engineering software, so how many of you have seen this here? Where because we are using boundary representation or B-spline method behind the CAD packages, we always see that models are not regenerated and crashed on us when we're trying to do some complex operations. So it sounds complex because we made it complex. So adding fillet or adding a feature on a conformal surface, we always see this issue, and it limits innovation. When we have a process like additive manufacturing where you can manufacture more complex components, can you model more complex components using traditional CAD package? And that's the question mark, and that's the problem. And coming on to the solution here, we have to understand one side is that what's the science behind the CAD modeling. So in terms of computational platform, so Entopology is a computational modeling platform for design, simulation, and manufacturing. So you might say that, oh, I have a NX, I can do modeling, I can do CAM, and I can send a part to CNC machine. But can you do that for additive manufacturing that easily on polymer, composites, or in metal? And more scientifically, maybe not. So what is special about this solution is it's a high performance software. So the graphics technology, the modeling technology is much more reliable when you're designing complex geometries. And second thing, so with the workflow here on the screen, you can see that you're going from a CAD part to a topology optimized or optimized component. Then you are preparing it for manufacturing in terms of overhangs and all the requirements for manufacturing. Then you are doing the validation again, and then slicing the part and printing the part. So that's a journey. And what we see here is the automation and integration of manufacturing knowledge into your CAD tool, which is not present in any other CAD package at the moment. You have to go through Magics or something else, where we have to perform a lot of other things. And we're not saying that NTOP will replace NX or Magics. It is giving you that collaborativeness, and it's allowing you to use the workflow again and again. So if I work on this part and tomorrow I'm on holiday and I just save that workflow and pass it on to some other engineer before I go on holiday, he will be able to perform the same workflow on a different part. And that automation we will see today when Praneeth will explain the software. It will be much more clearer to you. So again, you might be thinking, oh, we know this, this kind of workflow is flagged by everybody. So what is different? What is actually different behind the technology? So let's look at the deep down at the detail level. So what is legacy? Is boundary representation as a feature is that in boundary representation, we have a point and we map that point all over the boundary. So we're always limited by parameters we have to hand. And that way we are creating these patches, and we have so many variables there. With N topology, we are doing implicit representation. It's a mathematical representation. So you have an equation for you have an equation for a shape, and you can manipulate that very fast, very easily, go inwards and outwards, and you don't have this patching problem. That's why it says design without boundaries, and that's literally possible. We'll see today when Praneeth starts showing some of the features, very simple features to start with. But problem becomes more complex when you start booleaning things, offsetting things. We're doing shelling, or a lot of people from automotive do shelling, ribbing, booleaning, subtracting operations. But it's very complicated because simple circle was very complicated. When you start booleaning two circles together, two cylinders together, this issue happen where they meet. The software doesn't understand that they have to get rid of these 2 points here, and that's the problem, and it's very complicated, and we start looking at stitching issues, or the feature recognition tool fails and can't regenerate the model. And this is a science. I'm not saying it's a bad science. It's a science for the past. We should look in future now where it's very simple. So we can have a circle A equation, circle B equation, and you take a mean of it, and you have the geometry where you have a boolean as well as you can fillet the boolean. So how many people maybe you might, if you are already a CAD designers, you might have seen that when you apply a boolean and then to try to give a fillet to the sharp corner, I 100% it crashes if you try to do that instantly, or it will take 15, 20, 30 minutes. So with this end topology, it takes seconds. So we'll look at that in a demonstration. And that's what I was trying to explain here, that as unbreakable geometry, no matter what complexity you have, no matter what size of fillet you want to apply, no matter you accidentally you punch in some values where the whole model crashes, it won't happen. It will still deliver in seconds. And the way it does it is a very unique technology on hardware side, the way it accesses your cores, your graphic card, as well as on the modeling side, where you can apply very different features and parameters to it. So today, as I said, and I don't want to make it as a complete end topology demonstration. I want to give enough time to Praneeth as well to demonstrate the story behind the part. So what we will look at today is these particular things here, where in structural optimization, we as an industry use Altair, we use ANSYS. There's so many software packages, Fusion, Inspire for topology optimization. So when we do topology optimization, we know the loads and boundary condition and our design goals, that we have to reduce the weight and achieve the stiffness, or do wall optimization, shell optimization. So in this particular package, you can do topology optimization. But going one step above or next level up is that you can have a variable shell thickness based on your stress map. So if your if your stress path or load path is showing that certain areas have those significance in the component, then you can shell the part variably by using just the result from ANSYS, Abacus, whatever simulation package you're using. You can bring that map, stress map here, and also Entopology has got its own simulation engine, which can do linear structural, thermal, nodal, buckling analysis. And those results can be directly used to influence that shelling operation. And I don't think kind of feature is available in any other CAD platform, which can do things in minutes, not in hours. And that's the interesting part, because that will influence designers to design very fast and with confidence. So now let's look at some examples. We understand the science behind the software. Let's look at some implementations. So I have kept this very brief, not biased towards this industries, but I like these examples to talk about. So we have the first one is aerospace and defense and space applications, where we have tailored material properties. We are very specific. We know what we want. High stiffness required with lightweight structures and multifunctional optimization. So the example what we are seeing here is a CubeSat structure, and it's optimized in NTOP in 4 hours. So this is and they both are additively manufactured. The left one and the difference between the left and right is 50% of weight saving and increasing the stiffness by changing material. So the first, they made it in aluminum, but then with the topology design capability, we could switch material from aluminum to Inconel, which is more stiffer material, much can take much high temperatures, and still achieve the weight reduction. So again, that's the empowering feature of topology, allowing people to get rid of the extra weight, but also optimize structures, or as I said, multifunctional optimization can also combine things to for you to do the higher level calculations outside in topology. So you don't have to do everything here. You can export the meshes from here, go to ANSYS, come back. So there's a very seamless integration with ANSYS and other CAD packages, simulation packages to do this optimization, get the results and optimize the structures. So the gyroid lattice structure was used in these frames to increase the stiffness as well. So we are talking about three levels here. One is the material upgrade. We have the gyroid as a maximum stiffness structure, allowing the strength and also reducing the weight with topology optimization. So three-level stuff. So that's why we're calling it architecting materials here. The second thing is the speed, the rapid design exploration. The second example shown here is the heat exchanger design. And I know, and that's what is making a lot of attraction on internet, and a lot of engineers trying this software to design heat exchangers, which was not possible using traditional CAD packages because we were stuck with shell and tube heat exchangers and all other things. So understanding this is very important, that what is the problem, and assembling that workflow so that it can be transferred to your engineers to do more iterations very fastly. And you can also make some coupons and test it on your metal machine very quickly. And so you can do a DOEs for heat exchange problem using Entopology. It gives you rapid design exploration opportunity. And the last two here, again, we are busy with aerospace, defense, automotive, but next to as Excel 3D, we see consumer and medical sector as a priority for us, where we can allow designers to design more customized parts. So the left-hand side example here is a bicycle seat. So, but depending on the pressure points of your seat, you can always optimize lattice structures, and these kind of parts have gone to production now. So you can produce these things using polymer 3D printing processes. And again, you can see on the left hand side, you have this notebook, they call it, and Pranit will explain how it works. It's assembled, and we just need to change geometry to get the same output with something else. And that's very important, that we are not losing that parametric nature of a feature tree here. It still works parametrically, and it can update the things much faster than CAD packages we are using currently. That's why we call it the second generation CAD package, because it is not to replace what we have now. It is to bridge that gap from B to B and B to C. The third example here is a medical example, and we'll have a special seminar, a webinar on that coming months, where we'll show you how to design patient-specific designs. It can be a cranioplate, it can be a knee implant, it can be a spine implant, it can be a hip implant or shoulder implant, where you can use osseointegration feature and can design lattice structures much more finer and more relevant to surgeons' requirements. And that's where we are seeing a major pull, and customers like CSIO already using this in India, and they have seen great results with this application. So these are the success stories, like some examples. I could put more slides, but these are top level things which attract, which I like to put it forward today for you to think about and see if you have anything else something similar to this where you can use this software. So we are talking about automotive applications today. So we'll try to focus on one sector today, and we'll bring more stories to you in coming months. So I would like to hand over the screen now to Praneeth, who will take it over from here and explain the story behind this part. Thank you very much.
Before Pranit starts, to all the audience, if you have any questions or any doubt, please try and mention that into the chat box. That we will.
Actually, before Praneeth starts, I have a quick poll questions for you, and we can always answer more poll questions during demonstrations, just to get synergy and for testing purpose. I would like to start with a very simple poll for you. So just you get a question on your screen, and you will get time to answer them. And for the first one is very simple. Which social media do you use the most? Just to test the feature of this Zoom poll for us. And then we can obviously move on to the next question. So we'll give you next 10 seconds. Okay, so ending the poll. Then the next question I had was very quickly on,
I think Utkarsh, you can share the result once.
yeah, I think there was just testing question, so it's everything working
Okay.
fine. But I can share the results for the next question. So just for today's audience, put perspective at what industry sectors we are working with. So I'll give you another 40 seconds there for that question. I hope everybody's getting the question on screen. If not, please raise your hands and we know that you're not able to work with it. I can see 10 people answered. Two more, and then we can stop. So I'm ending the poll, and I'm sharing the results. So you can see the audience today. We have two automotive, two aerospace, and rest are others sectors. So again, that's the results. Going forward with this story of a part. So I will bring the next questions uh, later on when Praneeth starts doing demonstration. So Praneeth, you can continue. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Pranit here. So basically, I'm a product innovator, as Shamam already said, for Excel 3D, and also the application engineer for NTOP. So today's topic is the case study. It's the case study of about a Formula student air intake. It's an air intake manifold which I and my team had designed in our Formula student team. So basically, we have just went up to a higher level. Like we had already designed the part of air intake manifold before, but there were some constraints which we couldn't design constraints on some constraints where we couldn't achieve the optimum level of our design. So and topology helped us in gaining that level. So in today's case study, we will be showing how we optimize that design in topology itself. So moving forward. So just a normal background of the part. So as you can see, there is a highlighted part. So this is an air intake manifold which comes in between the throttle body, as you can see in the on the left side, which is also attached with the air filter, and it is directly attached to a engine itself. So this is a single cylinder single cylinder engine. Therefore, it has just one intake manifold. So the basic design constant for us was that this is the Formula Student SAE competition. So there was a rule to minimize the power since it's a student level competition. So the rule was to minimize the power towards the student. So they had a restriction of having 20 mm restrictor between the engine airflow from the throttle body. So this was a challenge for us to optimize that 20 mm restrictor to have and achieve an optimum power level. So based on our analytic calculations and CFD analysis, we had to get a maximum mass flow rate and also calculate the minimum pressure drop across the restrictor. So we had various since we had a 20 mm restrictor. As you can see after the silver foil, there is a narrow region. So it's a restrictor there, and it's a type of a Venturi type restrictor. So based on some diverging angles and converging angles, we tested it analytically on software. So to obtain a proper pressure drop. So the main design challenge, as I already said, there was a 20 mm air restrictor. So the main objective of this was to optimize a Venturi type restrictor design, which to allow maximum possible flow rate throughout the engine without any losses, like reducing the difference in pressure across the Venturi at all speed. As you have seen that how it is designed and how the angles are closed, so which can lead us to various air losses and which can lead us to improper fuel automation, stuff like that. So based on that, we had to optimize it properly using the Venturi and also the air and also the flow of the air, so that the air goes at a proper speed towards the engine and we get a better performance with also the restriction of 20 mm. So the major constraint, as I already said, was the 20 intake restrictor, which limited the power. And due to that, the engine revolutions were also controlled from 10,000 RPM to 7,000 RPM. At such high speeds, and engines requires a large amount of air for combustion. So we had some constraints like how much the air should be stored in the air intake itself for ideal conditions and how the mass flow rate should be. So based on that, we had designed the product. So after testing, as you can see, we had a real time testing on the car itself for our various competitions. So on that, we had some drawbacks of that part itself. So based on that drawbacks, uh, we had some challenges to attain the design goals. So the main design goals were like better air fuel atomization when the engine is on ideal conditions. Second was minimizing the restriction to air flow. Like as you can see, due to this is a Formula SE race car. So to avoid a topple up when the car flips off, to avoid the breakage or leakage of the air intake has to be kept in a enclosed envelope near the chassis with closed angle so that when the car topples off or rounds off, the air intake doesn't get break down and it doesn't have a blast due to that. So therefore that we had to design it very closely and towards the chassis. Thirdly, so the reduction of component weight, since we had to avoid this breakage or things like that, of course we build the the wall thickness more tight, and due to that it has a more weight. But to, uh, to avoid that weight, we had to reduce the component weight. Further, we are trying to develop this in a titanium material so that reducing the metals also helps us. If we reduce the component weight, the other thing which we face is the structural rigidity. So to avoid that structural rigidity was because it's a single cylinder and high compression engine. So we needed to have structural rigidity against engine vibrations and avoid any breakage or loss in the engine in the air intake manifold itself. So as you can see, there are two images, which is the first image is which shows the structural rigidity, how it is obtained, and the second one shows the variable shelling. So NTOP platform enables us to achieve this, have achieved has been capable of for us to achieve these 2 points like variable shelling. Variable shelling will help us like better air fuel atomization and also minimizing the restriction to airflow. Like by having various different shelling options will not only help us in air restriction of flows and also minimizing the loss of air, loss of flow. Similarly, structural ribbing or isogrades or latticing, as you can see the image, the first image, it will help us to have obtain structural rigidity without compromising to its structure strongness, and also helping it to us to reduce component weight and reducing the material itself. So just moving forward, I'll just take you back to software itself. So before going towards the practical demonstration itself, I will just uh, let you know the GUI, how NTOP looks and what feature it consists. So this is a window how topology looks. It's not like normal CAD software. It has a bit, and the interface is a bit different. But as you can see, this is a toolkit which we have. So here we have as in topology, as previously Kasha sir said that in topology works on implicit body, so implicit body conditions. So based on that, we have all modeling structures like box, like it can be created directly. So like box or cube, which are normally obtained in normal CAD software also. See, similarly, we have modelings like extrude body, offset body, thicken body, a lot similar to like Boolean union, Boolean union and Boolean subtract similar. Similarly, we have a in tab for lattices, like we have a tailored lattice structures like TPM is cylindrical, TPM is spherical. Based on graphs, there are volume lattice, surface lattice, conformal lattice, and some more gyroid bodies, diamonds. Similarly, we have fields like we can use for gyroid field, diamond field, then mathematical formations. Similarly, we have simulations itself in the software itself, where we have static analysis, model analysis, buckling analysis, thermal analysis, and homogeneous unit cell. And you can also import other FE models component directly to the topology software itself. Similarly, there are some utilities, especially like converting into as it's a very EM related manufacturing. So we software. So we have some part like converting into exporting into the 3MFF or other lattice structures like SVS, like specifically for specific 3D printing, 3D additive manufacturing machines itself. Similarly, for additive manufacturing, we can have shell in for that. We have some tailored tabs like shell with reinforcement perforated from CAD surface. And similar, we can export it into various software and some architectic materials like texturing surface, like providing the surface roughness, which are used for mostly medical implants, and texturing perforation bodies or creating Voronoi on surface itself. As an analysis, as I already said, like static and model analysis. Similarly, we have a separate tab for lightweighting material structure, like we have how we can lightweight using surface or shelling, like having shell and variable shelling and shell with reinforcement and more shell, and many more other options. Like the other one is topology optimization. We can have a whole topology topology setup here using, we can create a whole setup here, or we can uh, import it from any other software itself. So this was just a work like the toolkits of it. As you can see, this is a notebook. So as we have like feature trees or options. So this has a notebook type of a feature wherein we have a feature chart, which is more useful. Like before Kasha sir said, like I can add any block which were here. Like I need to add a cube, so just I search for cube and I just add it over here, and my cube is already ready. So this is a cube, and basically there is a feature type of tree there, like with color options available, and this creates a proper workflow which we can transfer it from our colleagues to colleagues, where they can edit and whole workflow can edit. If I change the whole, just a single part, the whole uh, workflow gets changes, or the part features get changes automatically. We don't need to go and change everything in it. So similarly, this is we can name the book what type of project we are working on, and on based on our effects, we can have a workflow. We can have as large as a workflow. We can export many parts into it. Similarly, there is an option for like we can make a object itself. There is a no sketching option available in topology itself, but we have modeling, like directly modeling, like we have a cube, just I need to have what size I need to do. So like just like milliseconds it just changes. If I need to change the position, I can drag from here, based on the center point I can change over here. Similarly, I can show just a boolean operation too. So I just pick the sphere here. So if you can see the sphere, I will just pull it out. So you just the boolean in feature. So that's how it is. Now just I search for the boolean union feature. So as you can see, I just drag the bodies, like I need to have the cube is already added this here, and I have the boolean union itself. As you can see, based as We have no limitations to the design. Like the designers has no limit to what extent and topology can go. Like you can see the length radius, I can turn it to a level where it's impossible to create it or imagine it. So as you can see, in the fraction of seconds, we have a body. Similarly, we have a chart over here and an option where we can see the what time it takes. Like it takes milliseconds to operate based on our model or the model we have imported. So this is the overview of how topology looks. So now just taking you back to the real practical demonstration of the case study we are gonna know. Before that, mostly this was a part which we had already created. So we had to just make it to another level. So it just bridges the gap. It doesn't replace any CAD software, but it bridges the gap between your imagine any CAD software where we have like constraint that this is not possible or this can't be done. So topology helps us there to have that feature. Like there are more options like for importing. I just go to the import, so I can have various, as you can see, types of software like STL, OBJ, and 3MF files. Similarly, Creo, SolidWorks, solid parts. So I just take the solid body part which I had made on SolidWorks. Just take it over here. Based on your computer specification, you also can optimize your performance, like having low resolution or medium resolution, so your machine can work properly. As you can see, this is a imported body part which we have. So this has edges. So this means that this is a CAD body. So topology does not mostly not operate on various CAD body itself. So we have to just convert it into a implicit body. Once we convert into implicit body, it gets the freedom we get the freedom to operate it anyhow. Like once you see, so this is the import part. So there are lines and faces. So it's impossible to create where we get some constraints of faces or edges. Moving forward, like seeing the implicit body, so you can see it's a uniform body, and since it's a uniform and implicit body, it doesn't have boundary limitations, so we can have impossible features on it, which I will show you further. So here you can have the at what how your part is feature is being controlled or what time it may take. So you can see, so it has already smoothened, so it's just a single body. Based on this single body, you can create can apply all the toolkits which are the blocks which we say in topology terminology. So you can obtain it from here, and you can just play with around and use your design, your imaginations to create how you want. So that was how we should import. There are various. This was about the import, and you can export it in various like STL formats or step format, whichever you want. Moving forward to the what as this is already a created workflow. As you can see, I have created a workflow which has step means a new person can also operate this workflow. Like I have stepwise totally workflow where my other colleague can go and just change some values, and he can have a different iterations to the part itself rather than creating the whole part again itself. So this is the first question. Like I had created the importing part, so I just imported the part. So as you can see, there are options like you can rotate it around like from Y to Z or heal the CAD if there is a any problem in the CAD faces. Like as Utkarsh sir had showed you one example, there were peel off of the faces. So if there is, then the heal CAD option helps us. Similarly, the each block contains various information. View block details, like you have the information like where the path is, the how the model is, about the properties, like what properties it contains, how which color it should display, or you can just add a comment like our colleague should other colleague would know what the changes should be made here, or information regarding every feature, we can add it over here. Similarly, after taking importing the part itself, we can just create a Then I just moved on to creating various, I needed the basic parts which I had to give the surface the static and to convert it into the static analysis. Like I needed some constraints or the loaded resistance surface. Based on that, I had creating body the CAD body which I needed. So I created the CAD body from the import part. Then I had the loaded surfaces, the surfaces which I need to load. This is the inner surface of the intake body itself. So this was the surface where I want to load my static analysis. Based on static analysis, only we are gonna shell the body and we are gonna construct the latticing itself. This is the static loaded surface. Similarly, I have a list of the surfaces which are restrained from where to where the airflow will be happening. So these are the surface. So once I have this, I just move on to the, and this is the uh, hide option which will help you. So based at the topology already had its own FAEs analysis system. So based on that, I had just and the mesh structure. As you can see, there is various mesh you can operate like edge length, any feature angle based on that. So I had the meshing for my analysis. Similarly, converting it, this was the mesh. Similarly, I have the solid body in which I have added the material, isotropic material, which is ABS, which we had already, which we had used, and the density, which I just googled it around. So we just added. There are some materials which are already available in NTOP isotropic materials, or if you need, you can just add your materials in it, whichever material you need, the density, the Young modulus, and you can just add it. So this was the solid mesh. Based on that structural analysis, I had created the solid mesh which we used. Then you can see the material.
Pranit,
Similarly,
sorry to interrupt you here. We are running short of time, so you have another 5 to 7 minutes to wind
yeah.
the.
So based on that, we have structural analysis, as you can see. How so there are various regions. So we can have displacement, strain, stress, and based on that, so currently we needed the strain one moises for our to dedicate the pressure where we have. So based on this, I have the results. So I just put up this results in a ramp function where based on ramp is like I put the input values which I just obtained from the structural analysis, and based on that I have a differentiate, like I have a data output which I need for my variable shelling and variable shelling. Similarly, I just converted the last first step, like inflicting the body into a CAD body. Then I had a variable shelling option. So this the variable shelling option. So this was the as you can so based on the RAM function, like you can see the RAM function which I have used. Based on that, I have just RAM function. I have just variable shell like based on the static analysis itself. You can just have a normal variable shelling too with if you need a normal shelling, or you can normally use other techniques or other fields to have variable shelling.
Yeah, Pranit, you can put it to medium resolution or low resolution to speed up if you want.
So as you can see, it's created the load. So as see, so there is a variable based on our pressure maps. So I had given a thickness from 0.5 to 1 mm. Based on that, the thickness has varied accordingly. So this was the variable feature. Based on same, we have surface latticing. So the surface which I use for latticing was this surface. which was important for us. So based on same feature variable, based on our static analysis, I just had the conformal latticing on it, like the lattice is created, and just I thickened up the lattice accordingly. So as you can see, this is a conformal lattice, and based on an static analysis, the structure of the lattice is also changes according to it. Similarly, I had one more lattice structure based on it. That's a Voronoi structure. And so each so this was just loading. Take a time. So similarly, this was how the workflow was. Based on that, we had achieved the weight reduction and also structural rigidity for our whole workflow. And we can have our output in various formats like for step or STL if we need. In our case, we had ABS. We had 3D printed the part in ABS, so we had the HTL format. Based on that, we can have a workflow. So thank you for now. I will hand over to Kasha sir for the question and answers.
Thank you, Pranit. We'll now be taking questions from the audience. Utkarsha, if you could please just take a look, and Pranit, whenever required, you can also answer.
Okay, fine.
We have the questions in the chat.
There was a question like, was a physical validation done by the FSM team? Yeah, we have already done the physical validation on both our parts, like the part before and part after. So we have received a proper idling condition and also a proper input. So, but we needed some issue mapping also for proper working of that air intake itself.
On a burst, something on burst pressure, Pranit. What about the burst pressure? I think it's connected to the question about the physical validation.
Uh, burst pressure. No, we didn't obtain the like burst pressure directly because our positioning, like there was it also depends on the exhaust itself. So we don't had a pressure whenever there is a pressure from the exhaust, there is a burst pressure in that case, but we didn't had a burst pressure there.
Okay, any other questions? Anybody wants
Like
to?
can we export this file as a yeah, we can export it as a IGS and step also, step file also.
I think iteration wise, it was I think NTOP allows to allow you to do very quick and dirty iterations. And Pranit, maybe how many rounds did you take? One or two?
So, yeah, 2 or 3 rounds for iterations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did the variable shelling help in increasing the air mass flow?
Yeah, it definitely helped because we had the thickness of around 10 mm and which was like heavy, and because there was angles like as you saw there were close angles needed to the chassis, so there were angles which were disturbing the flow, and there were major losses like taking it from 10 mm to like variable thickness of zero point 0.5 zero point 0.5 to 1 mm was very which helped all for us. And also the constraint was keeping it in a shell, it in the envelope of the car itself. So it really helped us. So we will also be having more iterations to get a more optimum level also. Currently it's been on testing cell.
I'll quickly, yeah, I'll quickly. I don't know, Pranit, you were not able to show the the structure. So the lattice structures, using like different kind of lattice structure to strengthening the skin. or the structure of your part is quite easy to do. So once you run the static analysis, you know your maximum pressure and minimum pressure and load paths, and you can influence the geometry morphing or modeling accordingly and automatically. So if I change the geometry and keep the same workflow, it will update itself in minutes. So iteration wise, even if you do 2 or 3 iteration, the time it takes is not more than a day. In half a day, you can have your iterations done on a software level, excuse me. And but you can always go and do it physical validation to confirm it. Very good question. Where can we learn this workflow? So this workflow building is very easy. So as you see, Praneeth has built this maybe in half an hour. So you can drag and drop different things. So when he was showing you the Boolean feature, he opened a box, he opened a sphere, and that's the notebook building. Basically, it's like school. In school, we or colleges, we should write steps one by one, and anybody can use your notebook to follow it. So the workflow, once you build it, it can be shared with your team, which they don't have to build it again from scratch. As a beginner, if you are doing topology optimization or static analysis, it has a guided workflow, training material and videos, a lot of resources available, so you can build your own workflow.
Yeah, because there's one question I think we missed. It's conventional material
Yeah, it's
and method for manufacturing.
Yeah, so the good part of entopology is not about only about 3D printing or additive manufacturing. You can do see a conventional CNC manufacturing tool path planning as well. So you can export conventional materials. You can use conventional materials database. You can import a material file from, for example, nowadays I personally use Granta MI a lot to get the material data from there, and I can create my own material in Entop for customized problems. So again, that's a method of manufacturing as well. If you know what you're going to use, uh, and topology is a thing currently I'm working on the beta phase where we have access to, where additive manufacturing constraints are added already to the topology optimization. So overhangs, the minimum wall feature resolution, all that has been added to the simulation. So your topology optimization is not vague anymore. That it exports a very wacky shape, and you have to remodel it to make it more like engineering part. Again, then you have to go through that iteration of optimizing that part for AM like manufacturing. That is saved as well now, because you can specify some AM based manufacturing constraints. We model the part. So I
Thank you,
have
Utkarsh.
just sorry, Isha, I'll just take 30 seconds from you. I will just launch this. I just want to know if people have used variable shelling already in any other package. I don't know if you can answer that very quickly. I know we started 3-4 minutes later, but I want to see what's the audience says, that even if you have 10 people, out of 10, how many people have already done variable shelling, and um, how was it? So let's see, another 4 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can see 7 people saying they haven't done it. Only one person has done it. Um, so I have another last final question is, have you experienced any issues while applying uh, ribbing to conformal surface using traditional CAD package? And topology guarantees you that as a software, that it will never fail. If you punch accidentally bad values going from 1 millimeter to 30 millimeter, it will still do the job. It will not break the model, and that's the craziness of the technology behind it. So sorry, Isha, I'm just coming to the end. So 7 people said yes. I'm just sharing results here quickly for people as well, so they can see what's happening on their side. So yeah, I think everybody faces issue creating ribbing on conformal surface, and that's very common problem we are facing. But entopology will allow you to uh, do that. So thank you very much for answering these questions, and hopefully we share things. So I'm giving it to Isha now. Thank you, Isha.
Thank you, Utkarsh. Thank you, Pranit. Thank you, Sam. Okay, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us for this webinar. I'd also like to mention that just in case you guys have any doubt regarding product development or in topology software in any other application, healthcare, aerospace, or any other application, you have any doubt regarding Metal AM, you can always get to us or through our email ID. Or just a second, I'll share my screen so you have a you can always get to us through our email ID, phone number, or you could also send us a direct message on LinkedIn. And we'll definitely help you get to your query.
I think Manshu has asked here.
Yeah.
What sessions are up next?
We are going
So-
to have continuous sessions. Like Sam, you if either of you could take that, that will be better.
Yeah, so I
because-
think I just mentioned to Himanshu there that patient-specific implants, how do we apply osteointegrated lattice structures to a surgical implant? That's definitely we would like to hit on that because we have a customer in India, so CSIO, they already started using it. And we have a lot of inquiries through that, and then we want to educate that industry where we can show how to optimize the lattice structures for patient-specific implants. Texturing for automotive. I am not sure if you have guys have seen the 3D texturing features in topology. I think the what Praneeth showed today on latticing, ribbing, we can use exactly same technology to create 3D textures in automotive on dashboard components or trims and row trims and other things, consumer products. So much more. I would say we will not stop. So we'll have this webinar on every month around same time maybe, and we'll obviously Isha will be more than happy to keep you guys updated on our social media or even personally if you want.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. Thank you, everyone, on behalf of uh, Excel 3D team. I'd really like to appreciate the time you've given us. And Himanshu sent in, no, it's Utkarsh, Austin, it's not Uday. That's okay. Himanshu, I'm glad you liked this session, and we would be putting in a lot more in the future, near future. So we're expecting that more people can join us. Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. We'll keep you informed.
Have a good
Please
day, guys.
follow us on our LinkedIn channel also, so you are updated. Or somebody, Abhishek needs a trial for 1 month, if anybody can answer that.
Sure. I will contact you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye.